Good afternoon. Here we have a quiet little motel, tucked away off the main highway, and as you see, perfectly harmless looking, when in fact, it has now become known as the scene of the crime. This motel also has, as an adjunct, an old house, which is, if I may say so, a little more sinister looking, less innocent than the motel itself.
And of course that house was inspired by this house. I'm here in Haverstraw, New York, which is just north of Nyack, New York, which was the birthplace and longtime home of a famous American painter, my favorite American painter, Edward Hopper. And this was the house that inspired his 1925 painting, House by the Railroad. Of course, there's been a bit of a dispute as to whether or not this house and Edward Hopper's painting helped inspire the Bates Mansion in Hitchcock's film, Psycho. But if you take a close look at this house and the architecture, the details of it, and Edward Hopper's painting, and compare that to the buildings that are in Santa Cruz near Hitchcock's Scotts Valley home, you'll see that the framing by the railroad really fits more of Hitchcock's design and Hitchcock's vision closer to Edward Hopper's than to those other places. What's strikingly similar thematically between Edward Hopper's painting and the way Hitchcock chose to design his set is that you have this Victorian house up on a hillside. We're looking up at it, and then you have this stark horizontal image, the railroad tracks in Hopper's painting cutting into it. It's obscuring it. You have the 1800s cutting in with urban 20th century innovation, and in Hitchcock's framing you have the similar house, the Victorian ideals, this house solitary on a hillside, and then the stark horizontal image of a motel, 20th century iconography. So with this theme in mind, that's quite possibly why Hitchcock chose Edward Hopper's painting as the inspiration for the Bates Mansion in his film. Also, right down the river in Nyack, Hitchcock had occasion to visit when he was working on the screenplay for Notorious with Nyack resident Ben Hecht. So it's quite possible that they had occasion to take a jaunt up this way, and Hitchcock had seen this home, which was the inspiration for the Edward Hopper painting. And if you look at Edward Hopper's other paintings, there's many occasions where you could see a little bit of that vision creeping into Hitchcock's films as well. They both seem to share a sense of the voyeuristic as one of their themes. If you look at Hopper's paintings, there's many occasions where his subjects of his painting seem to be looking at things, and also the viewer of an Edward Hopper painting takes on a voyeuristic point of view. Anyway, look out for our next video, and thanks for watching.